Darren, we're in a ball floating in the middle of space with a million universes and galaxies. And it is possible. Anything's possible when you think about it.
Aliens and ghosts, in my mind, are two different things. Aliens and ghosts are two very different things. Welcome to Banter After Dark. Today we're going to be discussing the likelihood that ghosts and aliens exist. So grab a cup of tea, get comfy, but not too comfy, because I think the conclusions that we reach today will seriously surprise you.
I'm a little, hurt that you crushed the rose.
Well, I think I had every reason to. While I was Omegling with the classy folk, I received a DM from the comic kid, and frankly, I was a little shocked.
Came on here to steal your girl.
He lied?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. So he saw me, and his first response was, "You ugly fucking bitch."
Please clarify. What? You're not dating a 13-year-old now?
No.
What's interesting about everything that you're saying is he did send me the screen recording of your conversation with him, and I can't believe that you're lying to me right now. I'm kidding. I'm glad we cleared that up. Now onto the ghosts and aliens. I think aliens are more likely than ghosts. Because I think ghosts become religious, and aliens are we're just there's more to life.
You're talking to two Catholics.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had this conversation with you. Do you believe in God?
No.
At all?
No.
This is Kieran. I've known him since I was 8 years old. We went to school together. Kieran was that guy in high school who was super smart, but he wasn't a dick about it. He never needed to shove his intelligence in your face. In fact, if you ever needed help with maths and physics, he was always the guy who would make time to help you because he just loves maths and physics. And because of that, everyone loved him. And now he's a PhD student studying astrophysics in France. If his mum isn't proud of him, what? I guess as a research, a high-level research scientist, you can't believe in God. It just goes.
That's definitely wrong. I know multiple people who are religious in science. I've read a PhD thesis where, in the acknowledgements, the final sentence was, "Thank you to God for making everything so interesting to research," or something to that effect. This is now, one of the leading researchers in my field. Definitely someone I look up to. When you talk about science, you have to talk about the things you don't know and you don't understand. It has never been, maybe there's a higher power, maybe God did it. Never anything close. It's always, we don't know yet. Here are the theories that we have.
I think what I've done is I've somewhat shut off the potential for ghosts and afterlife. Maybe more of a coping mechanism, perhaps.
If you don't open yourself up to that kind of stuff, it doesn't happen.
But that's the issue that I have with it. And a lot of that stuff requires probably more religious stuff. That's why I'm not I wouldn't consider myself ultra religious, because before you can get that unlock, you have to have that leap of faith. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of people that's how they live by. But it is a leap of faith. If there's no thing to prove it before you believe it, that's a leap of faith. And that's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with the leap of faith, but call a spade a spade. That's what it is, right?
That's proof.
In order to believe in ghosts, I think that's more of a religious pathway, whereas to believe in aliens, I think it's less about religion and more about probability. Because the world, the universe is so big. Hopefully, there's something out there. It's so surely there's something out there.
I think that can be really true, because a lot of ghosts and demons and spirits can stem off of your religion.
Are you religious?
I am, yeah.
I actually, when I was younger, I used to put them in the same bucket, ghosts and aliens. It's such a distant idea. But now I'm getting closer and closer to the belief that not only is there a possibility that aliens exist, I think it's becoming more and more likely that aliens exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that. There's two different flavours of aliens, right? Or two different questions to ask about aliens.
Yeah.
Do they exist, and will they visit us?
Right.
Or can we contact them? If the universe is infinite and we exist, then it would require some ridiculous probabilities, ridiculous chances for there to be no other life in the universe.
Right.
Other than us.
Great. So aliens probably exist. However,
when we are looking at a galaxy that's, 10 billion light years away, like, sure, there's probably aliens there, but, like, doesn't matter. There's going to be no contact. It's an irrelevant question. There's some comfort that you can get from there being other life in the universe and us not being completely alone. But then the question of, are there aliens nearby that we can contact? That one's a very different question.
I live 4 hours from Area 51.
really?
I do believe in aliens more than I believe in ghosts, like you, but I do believe in ghosts. But 100%, we're not the only living species in the whole galaxy, whatever. 100%.
I mean, not that I don't believe in them. I just have never experienced or known someone who's experienced something with them.
The closest star to us is 4 light years away. So, it takes 4 years to get there, 4 years to return. Any message that we send will take 8 years for us to receive, minimum 8 years for us to receive a response.
But for it to take 4 years to get there, we have to be traveling at the speed of light. And currently, we have no technology that can travel at the speed of light in a machine, right?
No.
How fast is the speed of light? Have you never heard the saying the speed of light?
I mean, think about turning a light on and off. That's the speed of light.
So, yeah, we physically aren't anywhere near reaching these other stars. I'm not even sure whether we ever will be. Also, do you remember special relativity from back in year 12, year 11 physics?
I remember the name. I don't really remember much of the content, but I think you're going to say something along the lines of time travel.
Yeah, well, time dilation.
If you travel so far out in space that if you could look down on Earth, you could see thousands of years ago.
What Georgia and Lucy are referring to is this theory called relativity, which is pretty trippy to explain, so I'm going to let Kieran do it.
The important thing is that space and time are linked.
Okay.
So the faster you travel through space, the slower you travel through time. So if we're trying to travel 4 light years away and we travel half the speed of light so that it takes us 8 years to get there, because we're traveling so fast through space, we'd be traveling slower through time. I mean, any good sci-fi movie has someone travels far away and then when they return, 10 years pass for them, but an entire civilization is destroyed because it was 200 years back on Earth and they don't even recognise the planet they've come back to. That's back in Planet of the Apes.
Are you still with us? It can get a little bit confusing to wrap your head around the idea that time is not necessarily a constant. Like on Earth, we know 24 hours in a day. That's how it's always been here. But all you really need to know is that the faster you travel, and we're talking extreme speeds here, the faster you travel, the clock ticks slower.
How big our brains are expanding when we're aliens.
Where's the tinfoil? How far is Mars?
Well, it depends on where in the orbit, but at closest it's, I think, 4 light minutes.
4 light minutes?
And it currently takes us 5 years to get there or something. The Milky Way is 100,000 light years across.
When you say 100,000 years across, you mean the diameter of the Milky Way, which is what the Earth is in. I'm just going to reiterate that point because it's a big deal. The sheer size of the Milky Way. Earth is in the Milky Way and it is 100,000 light years in diameter. To put that into context, if you wanted to travel 1 light year in a space shuttle, it would take 37,200 years. If aliens did exist, if they came here and then back to their planet, the people on their planet would be considerably different aged.
Yep.
Considerably older.
Yes.
Right.
Because remember, clocks are slower when you move.
Right. So then, although yes, it might be scary for aliens to come and invade us or come and, probe us and put stuff up our butt, there is a potential downside of an alien coming here because when they go back to their Earth, or that's their planet, things will be different for them. So even if there are aliens in other galaxies, they may never come visit us because there's a downside, a serious downside for them to come here. That is if they age in the same way that we do.
Yeah, well, true.
And just when I thought Kieran was finished with ruining my dreams of meeting a cutie from another galaxy, he kept piling on the bad news.
As far as we can tell, matter can't travel at the speed of light.
What do you mean as far as we can tell? Why not?
The amount of energy it requires asymptotes to infinity.
I always thought that you could travel faster than the speed of light if you had enough rocket power to do so. Like, there are a lot of cartoons that make it seem very realistic. But apparently, with physical objects, like a space shuttle, as you get closer to the speed of light, you need exponentially more energy to get to the speed of light, which means it's practically impossible. I thought we were just talking about it's a matter of time before Elon Musk provides us with some rockets that can go fast enough to go as fast as the speed of light. But pretty much you're saying it's near impossible.
Yeah.
I don't know, did you see the stuff that came out this year?
I mean, I know, like, when coronavirus was, like, getting big, all of a sudden they were like, oh, let's release all these different, like, alien sightings or whatever. I mean, I was like, I'm sure this is true. I believe it.
What came out in end of April, early May, or around that period was
something that it took some skill to capture. All of these videos have been leaked in the past, but the US government now confirms they are genuine.
Just hearing that information, what's the first thing your mind goes to?
So the US Army saying yes, that's unidentified. Well, then if it's actually from, sent from Australia and Australia knows what it is, then Australia has identified it. So the unidentified part of UFO is heavily based on who is the one trying to identify it.
These objects are probably some kind of secret military program, and what these pilots saw were real. The Pentagon, I'm assuming, declassified them because there was a lot of speculation going out there. They had already been leaked, so why not come out and say, okay, these films are genuine, they do exist, but we don't know what they are.
Like, if I was, like, abducted tonight, then I'd be like, holy crap, Darren, what the fuck just happened?
You leave the spaceship and your bum hurts, kind of thing, and you're just like, these aliens are no fucking weird.
But they don't go through my butt.
Well, no, but that's what aliens do. They probe people.
I don't know, I'm thinking lobotomy type stuff, I guess.
If the next time I speak to you, you're just speaking much slower.
Then you know what happened.
You got a lobotomy by an alien. And it's likely that your bumhole hurts too. I could rent out like a desolate area, make this cool fucking thing. I got an astrophysicist with you. I got some other friends that are engineers. Blah 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 blah. We can make some cool shit. Fly it around without registering it, and that's an unidentified object. Why wouldn't there be? I'm sure there are people doing that around the world.
Just because the US Army says it's unidentified does not mean that no one on Earth knows what it is.
Correct.
Does not mean it has to be aliens.
Correct.
And yeah, you're right, the media makes that jump too often.
What the US government or the Pentagon is actually saying when they release these statements confirming UFOs is that it is highly likely that these unidentified aerial phenomenon have links to foreign governments and potential threats. To America, that always seems to be like Russia and China.
For the most part, I'm like, oh yeah, the government's probably hiding a lot of stuff from us, so
For sure.
it can be 100% true.
For sure. Not just the US government, I think like any government. I see it kind of like in the same way, like my mum or dad wouldn't tell me certain things when I was younger to protect me. To protect me, hopefully to protect me. But like, let's be honest, when you find out about it when you're older, sometimes you're like, yeah, that's cool, thanks for not telling me or whatever. But I think a lot of the time you go, well, maybe I could have handled that information. Maybe I was more mature than you gave me credit for. Because we can't go faster than the speed of light to get out of this huge galaxy, it makes me go, then it seems extremely unlikely that humans will be able to go to these places that we might actually uncover, but we'll never be able to get there.
Yeah.
Probably ever. That sucks. Because imagine we develop technology amazing enough to see billions of light years away, and we see the civilization of aliens that are so beautiful and so harmonious and so peaceful, and we can see them, and we can focus in on them, we can hear them with all of the technology, but we'll never be able to see them.
If we're able to focus in on them, we'll go, oh wow, they're really harmonious. Presumably we could send messages to them, wait 10 billion years and get the message back. And just say, hey, you up? No,
yeah. I'm really drunk right now. I'm in an Uber, I'm on my way. If you made it through this whole video, I'm proud of you. I hope you aren't too disheartened by the high likelihood that there are aliens in our universe, but the extremely low likelihood that we're ever gonna have the opportunity to meet them. And if this nerdy chat wasn't up your alley, you're probed Ellie. Next Wednesday, we'll be back to making dick jokes for Banter Wednesdays. The theme next week is Pajama Night, so everyone's welcome to join, and I post the details on Twitter and Instagram. Have a great weekend.
Imagine if you were to ask the question to the Egyptians building the pyramids, do you think we'll ever get to the moon? They'd be like, no, these pyramids are the best things we've ever done, and look how much effort that required. It would take such a leap in technology to get to the moon, and then we've already done that 50 years ago, easy. I mean, it's partly why I got into asteroids, because I thought all that looked cool.
Sure.
And then I started studying it, and then I was like, oh, it actually is cool. Cheers, Darren.
Cheers.